Welcome to Acoustic Conversations, everybody. My name is Pete Wright, and I'm here with
Kurt Siffert.
Hi, Curdy.
Hi.
It's good to see you.
Thanks.
We are here again. Look, he's already laughing at us.
We're a little dorkier every time we start the show. We're really going downhill here.
I know, but it's because I this morning I said I'm going to do a show tonight, and I want to make sure that I don't say anything about the couch.
Too late.
Yep. I say something about the couch, and I think it's just getting old.
See,
I'm no longer even interested in the couch.
I already had some back patter planned for if you said that.
Well, you see?
Yeah.
I totally hung you out there to dry.
That's awesome.
We are joined this week by... I've been looking forward to this for a year and a half, I think, or a year or so-ish.
Oh, yeah, that's
it was
when
2
it was.
years. This morning it was 2 years, and it's gotten less
Your
years.
memory is compressed?
Yeah, my memory is compressed. We met Matt Price a year ago at... McAdams?
Yeah, McAdams Bar and Grill.
McAdams Bar and Grill. Yeah. Matt, we are thrilled that you are finally on the show. I don't know what took so long. I don't know why you've been holding out on us.
I'm pretty slow, I guess. I'm just... Things take a while. I don't know.
Welcome to the show. We were thrilled to have you here.
Thanks.
To sit down and talk to us, play some music, and talk about, where you come from, backstory, a lot of parental issues we hope to get into. But first, we would very much like to kick off with a song.
All right.
What are you going to play for us?
Hey, well, you said, it's taken us a long time. So this one's about sometimes, another year goes by and we don't even know what happened. So that's what this song is called, Revolution. May never see the rings of Saturn, even though we've heard that they're spectacular. We're stuck in this same orbit, ain't much to show for it another year. And when 365 days find us right back in the same place, they might call it a revolution, but I can't see much change. Don't try to find a solution, 'cause I don't mean to complain, and I'm not concerned if we never see anything new. I'm just glad that I have one more chance to fly around the sun with you. I won't chase asteroids and comets, 'cause after their glory's gone, it's just you and me. And we'll fly between Mars and Venus, and nothing will come between us. You're all I need. And when 365 days find us right back in same place, they might call it a revolution, but I can't see much change. Don't try to find a solution, 'cause I don't mean to complain, and I'm not concerned if we never see anything new. I'm just glad that I have one more chance to fly around the sun with you. Yeah, they call it a revolution, but I can't see much change. Don't try to find a solution, 'cause I don't mean to complain, and I'm not concerned if we never see anything new. I'm just glad that I have one more chance to fly around the sun with you. Yeah, I'm just glad that I have one more chance to fly around the sun with you.
That's fantastic, Matt.
Very nice.
That's a
Thanks, guys.
very catchy tune.
Yeah, you're a very communicative singer. I say that because I feel like that is a contrast from a lot of singers I've heard. Is that something that you specifically go for?
Communicative, like I say what I'm thinking about?
Well, it's also understand like the lyrics. The lyrics come through. Like you can actually, it feels easy to follow the lyrics. I mean, it might be my headphones, but
yeah, because I didn't really get it.
More of a stream of consciousness thing, kind of different every time.
You know, it's I think it comes down to when I listen to a song. Occasionally, I like the ones where like I get to the end, I'm like, wow, that was sweet. Wonder what he's talking about. But usually, I want to know. Usually, I guess I'm still like a sucker for the stories. I like stories for the most part. And for me, I learned how to play guitar, and I learned like with cowboy songs and stuff like that, and sitting around the campfire. And there's nothing abstract there. It's a story. And so I guess I like telling different sorts of stories about just everyday parts of life, you know, and make it a song. And then people are like, yeah, I've been there. Like, haven't we all, you know? Mm-hmm. So I kind of like relating with people that way.
That's very nice.
The song you just played, Revolution, is off of your brand new album, brand new EP, Stranded, which is available in stores everywhere where music is sold. It's a terrific collection of tunes, and there's a pretty sweeping variety of styles and tones of music. I'm interested in terms of as you say, storytelling. How'd you go about putting this EP together? This is your first EP, right?
It is.
So what goes through your mind when you're compiling this collection of songs? I mean, you have a lot more than the 7 songs that are on there in your catalog. What'd you do to build this thing?
Yeah, it was really difficult. You know, I think I had a heap of about, 20 songs that I really wanted to record, and then when it came down to the fact that okay, I've got to choose a handful of these things, and there were certain ones that I really wanted to do. Stranded, the title track. There was different songs that I knew I wanted to do, but other ones it was tough. I think I like variety. I think one of the artists that I like is Ben Harper, because he'll go from do a gospel album, then he has a rock album, and he has, just all sorts of different stuff. And I guess for me, as a listener and as an artist, I always thought, that's cool. It's all got to fit in the same vibe, but you know what? I want some variety. I don't want it all to sound the same. And so I think I would when I picked out songs, I like to think about just different sorts of stories I wanted to tell, and different even varieties of music and stuff like that.
Now, story has come up a lot in our conversations with other artists. I'm wondering where you stand on a question that we haven't really planned on coming up frequently, but it just seems to keep happening.
Comes up every single time.
Yeah. There's there's this whole
great,
line.
It's a good question if you answer it right. So get ready.
Oh, great!
It almost seems like it's kind of a difference in approach. I mean, do you have a belief in keeping your stories autobiographical? Or do you make them more universal than that?
I think everybody starts out with autobiographical, and it's just where we go. We start writing a song because we've got something we want to say, and then I know that a lot of mine will start out absolutely autobiographical, and then I think about it. I'm like, yeah, I could scrap that verse and change this and that. So I think the truth is most songs end up some fact and some fiction, and I guess it's the fact of getting the true feeling and the true vibe, but maybe not every single event is true. Some of them are, some of them aren't, and that's for me to know and no one else. But.
Yeah. So how is it that you know when you've touched on something that is more than autobiographical? How do you know that something is effective not to just you, but is universal and is also affecting the audience when you're writing it?
Well, there's nothing like an audience. It's you can't beat it. So I like to take some songs that are in progress, and whether it's open mic, just take something really new. I was playing last weekend up at Edgefield winery, and I played a song I wrote the night before. And everybody seemed like they were having a good time. I said, "Hey, I wrote this song yesterday. You guys don't want to hear it, do you?" And of course, everybody's like, "Yeah, play the new song." Okay, and people really kind of dug it. They liked it, and I thought, okay, so it's got some good elements. I took it back home and I rewrote about half of it the next day. But it's for me, that's how a lot of times if something's valuable is to a wider audience. You just get that response, and or after a while, you realize you wrote something, you're like, oh man, I don't know where that came from, but I'm hanging on to that little piece. When you got something unique and good.
Yeah.
Before we started the show, you were tuning up, and you said a number of times, I sort of made the mental note saying that my wife really likes this song, or boy, my wife hates this song, or I don't know, I'm trying to win my wife over on just the fact that I have a beard.
You're getting in trouble, man. I'm just going to hear this.
Or toast.
Well, I'm curious. You talk about the wider audience. I'm curious about how you use your wife as a songwriting tool.
It's getting better and better.
That's great phrasing too, Pete.
What do you think? Was that was totally unrehearsed, that question? But you bet I'm sticking it in my bag of tricks.
Well, if I didn't have, I think if I didn't have a loving relationship like I do with my wife, I don't know how I'd write a love song. How do you write a love song from somebody else's experience? So the feelings are true in the songs. I think when I'm writing it, there are things that I'm feeling. The exact moments or circumstances in a song that might be made up sometimes, but it's just me finding the right pictures to say what sort of feeling I already have, and yeah, I really started writing music when I started dating my wife. So
oh wow,
and
really,
first song when we were dating, her birthday, I wrote her song. I proposed to her with a song that I wrote for her, sang it at our wedding. So different points in our history also have had a song that goes along with each part. So
I nearly swooned just then thinking about that. That is an incredibly warm story. I was going to my next question was going to be, do you remember the first song you wrote? So this was a song for your wife,
right?
Roughly,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're gonna,
yeah.
You want
to hear about it?
Just give us a little riff. Tell us a little bit about it.
So the first song I wrote, it's I think it must be about 10 years ago. It's called With You, and it's just kind of this whole long list of all these things. Oh, I want to do this and that. I want to do this and that, just like anybody does, when they're 21 or something like that. But basically the chorus or refrain, all these things I want to do with you. And it's still one. It's still one that I actually play, and and there's still, I think, a lot of truth in there. And I think when I was first writing songs too, it was just kind of a fluke. I didn't really know I was much of a songwriter, and then when one just came out, it was so easy. I just had all this. I think you need an easy one every now and then. You got to get lucky at least a few times.
Keeps you motivated,
right?
Momentum.
Exactly.
When at what point did you recognize that you had a potential career as a songwriter, as a performer? Or I should say specifically, which came first? Which did you imagine yourself first, as a performer and then a songwriter, or other way around? How did that come about?
Well, I go back and forth, honestly. I think in the end, for me, it's probably both of these things. Now I've swung back and forth between being a songwriter and getting songs placed and TV shows or stuff like that. Well, actually, I'm waiting for that, so I'm not going to talk about some huge success that I've had. But I've actually expecting some stuff. I'm an optimist, and but I love performing at the same time. I absolutely love it, and I love connecting with an audience. So I think that it's easy to start out, okay, absolutely just want to be a performer. I can't imagine somebody else would sing my songs. And, I want to sing them but then in the end, I love writing songs. I think as much as I love performing songs, for me, writing is a whole nother thing. And I get up every morning, and I'm kind of a morning person, but, I don't usually get up after 5, 4 or 5, somewhere in there. And I get up and I spend, an hour or two, and I just, see where it takes me. So like the last couple mornings, I wrote a song each morning, and then it's kind of nice. It's 8 o'clock. I've had a few cups of coffee. I maybe wrote a song, and then I can kind of go on with my day. And so I love writing music. I love performing it. I think a combination of all these things hopefully will be kind of my future.
I want to back up just about 30 seconds and recognize for Kurt.
Oh, man.
That the last 2 mornings, you wrote a song each morning.
What are you doing? You're like throwing the gauntlet down on behalf of him?
I am, a little bit. Did you see how I did that? I totally turned it around.
Very subtle.
On you.
Yeah.
I didn't say they were good.
See, he's trying to help me. You're not.
Throw him a bone here.
I'm fascinated by the process. I think we're, both of us are really fascinated by the process of finding, how you find yourself that inspiration and motivation to write a song. Mm-hmm. And I would very much like to talk about that, but let's hear another tune.
All right. Well, you talked earlier about what songs I was going to put on the album and all that. And this is one, this is a song that actually won awards in 2007, which all of a sudden seems like a long time ago. Mm. But it was like Portland Songwriters Rock Song of the Year, and people really liked it, and it was a hard one, but I didn't put it on the album, so that's what kind of why I wanted to play it on the show, because, people have been wondering about it, so I can play it for them, and they can hear it now. So
excellent. What's it called?
It's called Idol. It's for my TV. Your face reflects the pale blue light as his voice carries into the night. Or with your friend, you don't need your wisdom, cause there's only room for his opinion. So forget your kids, husbands and wives. It's easy to watch others' lives. Forget what you did or could have done. Relax and watch your television. When you come, gather round. And you can't say no to your remote control. And so you lay your life down. And you don't even know that you're worshiping your idol. You're flipping channels, looking for truth, happiness or the fountain of youth. But youth is what is slipping away. They're in that chair day after day. Now look at your kids, they need to run. Instead they're exercising their thumbs. And though the virtual sun always shines, it won't warm them like the one outside. When you come, gather round. And you can't say no to your remote control. And so you lay your life down. And you don't even know that you're worshiping your idol. It seems to me that the funny thing is, you don't even think that you're religious, but you're more religious than most people I know. Tell me the last time you missed an episode, and who did what and who did who. Now tell me who's gonna care about you when all you talk about is what you've seen glimmering on that TV screen. When you come, gather round. don't even know that you're worshiping when you come, gather round. And you can't say no to your remote control, and so you lay your life down. And you don't even know that you're worshiping. No, you don't even know that you're worshiping. No, you don't even know that you're worshiping your idol.
That's great.
Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't want to be obtuse, but so where'd that song come from?
I wrote it about a book that I was reading. When I was a kid, actually, I think it was when I was in high school, I kind of made this decision that instead of watching TV, I wanted to try to do different things. So I started to juggle, learn how to juggle when I was like 14, and I'd practice that all the time. And if the family would sit down and watch TV, I would go and seriously just work on it for hours. I would just practice juggling. And then when I was about 16, a friend and I, we started learning how to play guitar. So just kind of started focusing on really doing things and less watching. And I think that it's really shaped my life in a lot of ways. And people would say, wow, you're so lucky you know how to do this, or you're so lucky you know how to do that. I'm like, well, why don't you just do something then? You know, if we all just did something instead of watching other people do it, I figure we can kind of learn a lot of stuff.
And that is how you write a song between 4 and 5 in the morning. That would be how that happens.
You didn't
right?
start out doing that, right? And
please tell us you didn't start out.
You were 19 and you started, or 16. You started your guitar, and then it went. I mean, I'm sure that was this just kind of a slow, gradual progression to where you are now. Or
as far as songwriting,
songwriting, yeah.
You know, I honestly I don't think I took it very seriously until maybe 5 years ago, and I think I'd just wait around until a song would pop in my head, and I'd write it down, and it might have been maybe one a year or one every couple of years. And
in hindsight, were those songs inspired compared to songs that have come since then when you stopped waiting around for them?
I don't think they are any more inspired. The truth is, when you're looking for something, you see it. Like you're a photographer, right, Pete? If you're looking for things that are beautiful, you see them. And if I'm thinking about life as a songwriter, then I see stuff to write about. Every day if I'm working on something, then the rest. If I'm going through my day, I notice things. I'm like, that's worth writing about, or that's worth writing about, because it's in the front of my brain, I guess. So I keep a notebook all the time now, and you don't always have time to sit down and write a song, but you see something funny on a sign or something like, oh, that's pretty good. So you write that down. And then when it's 4 a.m. and I don't have any, much brain activity going on, I can pull out some old idea. I'm like, yeah, I wanted to write a song about that. And then I can make my cup of coffee and I can stare at it for a while, maybe pull out my guitar and see where it goes.
Do you have any experiences where you're writing one of these songs and halfway through you're going, my God, this is insipid? I'm saying, I'm curious. It's like, are you engaging your self-editing as you write, or is that something that you do later on?
I try not to, but of course, sometimes you're writing a song and you get a verse and maybe I get to a chorus. I'm like, that's absolutely crap. It's not worth the effort. So a lot of times I'll have, maybe 10 songs in progress. And like if I say I sat down this morning and I wrote a song, it's a song. It's not done. And I might need to give it a break. And a lot of times I'll have a might have a love song. I might have something else that's a funny song. I might have another one that's like some depressing, sad song. And for me, it takes a while. Some of the songs I'm playing tonight, even if I wrote them quickly, I rewrote them for years sometimes. So
that's an interesting perspective. I think it makes a lot of really intuitive sense that, even taking a step back, that to that momentum comment, the more you are writing songs, the more songs you will write, the easier it will be to have songs appear like they're being gifted to you. But really it's just the practice of writing. But the other piece of it is that it's a fight to create every day. Do you agree with that?
I think we don't give ourselves enough room to create sometimes. And I've got 2 kids, I have a 10-month-old son. I have a 4-year-old son. So they're up all night sometimes. They're waking up. Or if I'm going to get any time, I have to have time by myself where I can sit and think. And that's you asked me if I always got up that early. No, it was pretty much when my first son was born. I had to shift everything back, and I had to say, okay, when am I going to carve out my chunk of time? So, how do you find
you balance this lifestyle of the roving troubadour? And during the day, your day job is you are a teacher.
I am.
What grade do you teach?
3rd grade.
3rd grade. I have a 2nd grader. I can, and I only deal with one of them.
That's kind of when they got their creativity, but they don't have their restraint yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's a whole lot of engine going on and not a lot of brake. Yeah, but it's a beautiful age. And so you go to work, you teach these beautiful kids, and then you come home at night to your family, and somewhere in there you're a musician. Where does that happen?
Right. It's in all parts of it. At school, there's parts of it there. Even if, we write songs about whatever we're studying at school, or write songs with the kids. And so we get to work on stuff there. Even as kids are reading, I remember one occasion, I think a couple of years ago, actually with the song Revolution. It was a kid reading this book, and it's all about like the Earth was going around the sun. The sun was going around the Earth. Good teacher. So the Earth is going around the sun, and I was looking at these pictures, and in my mind, I'm just thinking, revolution. I'm like, that is brilliant. I'm like, you keep reading, everybody. Silent reading, a couple minutes. I had to go back to my desk. I just didn't have the actual lyric, but I was just like writing down the ideas. I'm like, all this idea of like, wow. Even if we don't go anywhere, we go around the sun, and and then a whole year goes by, and all this, and so it's kind of the same thing. No matter where you're at, the songs can come out of any of it. I think last weekend I was at home. I was putting on baseboards on my house, and that's when I was writing my song. I do a lot of my writing without any instrument at all. I just my brain just kind of gets the different lyrics and stuff. So I have my songwriting book with me, and I'm nailing on trim, and I'm working all day. And at the end of the day, I've got, some trim done and part of a song done.
Do you have a clear pattern of like, you're free writing ideas, lyrics first, music after, or is it just kind of just all over the place?
For me, I think I used to almost always do lyrics first. But at this point, I've definitely had both. So I can get inspired by a certain rhythm or melody or something that I hear on the radio, and then get kind of some rhythm playing in my head, and then start finding a lyric that fits that vibe as well. So I've done it both ways now, and I think that's where some of the variety in my music comes from. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the ones that are more mellow or more story songs, they usually tend to start words first.
Is there a particular kind of story that you find yourself attracted to? I mean, we've already touched on your variety. I'm wondering what sort of common themes come back in your songs a lot.
I think I've never been a huge Metallica fan. I mean, Metallica's, I mean, they definitely have their thing, you know, and they have their niche, and a lot of people love them. But I've never been into music that I just feel like is negative. So I want to write stories for the most part about, you know what, things don't always turn out like we wanted, but, you know, what the heck? I mean, that's life, and let's make the most of it. I guess I want to have a mostly a positive outlook on things. And if I have people come up to me and say that, you know, we really enjoy that your music is really positive, I like that. I take that as a compliment. So I think I've always been an optimist, and I guess I want to write, when I write something, I want it to be a positive force, I guess, in the world. And there's enough negative out there already. I don't think they need me writing any of that.
In 2007, as you've already played Idle for us, that was Best Rock Song from Portland Songwriters Association. 2008, you were a suggested artist for the VH1 Song of the Year. 2008, also Oregon Best Singer-Songwriter, Portland Songwriters Association. And then 2009, for the title song of your EP, Stranded, for the Texas Songwriters Cruise Song Contest. So 2 questions I think are obvious out of that. What role does competing with your music serve for you? And number 2, Texas Songwriters Cruise Song Contest. I think the question speaks for itself. What is that all about?
So which one of those questions should I tackle?
Yeah.
You know, a couple years ago, when I did the first competition, I think when I first joined Portland Songwriters, that was when I started to do those songwriters competitions, and man, I was nervous. You know, I was just freaking out. I got up there and I just sweaty, and you know, it was just,
they're tougher than a normal gig, aren't they?
Yeah, it's tough because
why are they tougher than a normal gig?
Because you're being evaluated not just by if the audience claps and smiles, but somebody's actually, you know, rating both your lyrics, your performance, your everything about how you're doing.
And on top of that, there's a large part of the audience that are the other songwriters competing for the same thing. And, you know, granted, I haven't actually felt very uncomfortable, you know, by these other songwriters. Everyone's very, very supportive, but it is
but they're watching
vibe.
You.
Yeah, they're watching you, not just out of enjoyment, but, you know, they're comparing. I mean, I know I am.
So how does that fuel your drive to perform?
For me, it's any sort of feedback. I think a few years ago, I think when I first was writing songs and submitting them for, you know, different artists or things like that, I'm thinking 2005, 2006. I thought I just had it made, and I just thought, oh, people just have to hear the music. They're going to love it. And then I got different reviews back, and I was like, what? No, you don't get the song. You don't get it. So
the nerve of those people.
You've got it. It's really good to get an honest opinion. And I think that that's a bridge that every songwriter has to cross. I think that if you're not willing to take a few blows and say, like, hey, you know, you could work on this. I mean, at that point, we either have to sit down and say, am I going to get better and try to take some of these suggestions, or am I just going to say, you don't know what you're talking about? So I'm done with this competing. It's like anything in life, you know, there's always rejection. And I think that, you know, no matter what we do, we have to rise above it and say, you know, I'm not going to let people's opinions rule how I feel about myself, but I am going to use people's opinions to be the best that I can be, you know, and use it, take it objectively and say, yeah, I got some weak points or I got some strong points, and you can, you know, really build better songs from there, I think. There's always songs too that, you know, I might love them. You know, I might have a song that I wrote about my son, and I might absolutely love it. and it might be the most valuable song in the world, and it's not going to be one that maybe I play everywhere, but you know what? Each song has its own audience, right? So you can have a meaningful song, like you say.
Let's do another one of those songs.
All right. Well, this is one from the new album as well, and it's called "Until Sunlight Touches the Ground." Lay here with me on this blanket underneath these constellations, and though the light on the horizon is getting brighter, let's just keep denying. So close your eyes as the stars disappear. Try to ignore the burns. We don't need to hear that sound. It's still tonight until sunlight touches the ground. We dance so carefree in this tall grass with our bare feet, but now the same sun that warmed our faces is rising up to steal you away. So close your eyes as the stars disappear. Try to ignore the burns. We don't need to hear that sound. It's still tonight until sunlight touches the ground. Hold on to this moment, 'cause the morning's coming and we can't slow it. So close your eyes as the stars disappear. Try to ignore the burns. We don't need to hear that sound. It's still tonight until sunlight touches the still tonight until sunlight touches the still tonight until sunlight touches the ground. Till sunlight touches the ground. Till sunlight touches the ground.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, very nice.
That is a
Thank you,
beautiful
guys.
tune. What does it look like when you have reached it?
For me, it really would be making enough to do this, to write music. I'd like to be able to write music and perform music and not have it, come out of my sleep or my hide. Mm. It's a challenge for sure to get everything in, like we talked about before. And just the chance of writing music and sharing it with people in performances or in CDs or whatever. I really want to. I absolutely love sharing the music with people. So I don't know if there's a certain.
Would just love to get paid more for it.
Right. For me, it's really. I'd like to be able to make a living doing it, and for me, that's no lofty thing. I don't really need lots of things or money or anything like that. We live pretty simply, and I really don't want that to change. I'd just like to be able to go off and go backpacking for a couple months and be okay with that, and just to have enough freedom. And I try to do it in a way that's respectful for, my family and everything. It's, for me, it's very much a part of doing this in a way that's good for our life and not in a way that's bad. I think that people can get carried away and want stardom or things like that. I just want to be able to share the music and make a living doing it. So I could have just said that. That would have been a lot shorter.
So I'm curious, as in terms of the actual business instincts of it. There are a lot of different ways to approach that direction. You've touched on this a little bit in terms of submitting your work. What kind of things are you doing along those lines?
Well, I actually, I'm a member of, there's this organization called Taxi. It's they're basically a big A&R company. They kind of get whoever wants this or that, whether they want a certain song for a movie, TV show, or certain artists are looking to record kinds of songs. And every 15 days or so, twice a month, they basically put out listings. It's about like classifieds. And say we're looking for this kind of song or this kind of song or this kind of artist.
And just before, what's the organization called again?
Taxi.
Taxi. That stands for something, I assume.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
Really?
Yeah, just Taxi.
Yeah.
How clever. Sounds so acronym sounding.
Well, what could the X be?
Exactly. That was my next question.
Xylophones.
They started out
They
just
started out just
xylophone
repping
music.
xylophone music and realized the market was fairly narrow.
But so when I talked about getting songs, I got a lot of stuff returned, and that's where I had to kind of decide, what am I going to do? And I really spent the next few years just writing and not really submitting. And now with some of these new tracks, I've sent them on, and there's a few companies. There's a big, they're a company that puts a lot of songs in TV shows and stuff like that out of LA. A lot of network TV shows. It's called Crucial Entertainment, something like that. Anyway, they liked one of my songs, and so they're kind of looking to place that one, and then another similar company in, I don't know, Chicago. I should know this, but
well, I hope they're not listening.
I try not to get too. I do my best to submit different things, or like you say with the business things, but I don't hang all my hopes on any one thing. I'll push, send it off, do the best I can, and then move on. And I figure it's just like anything. If you get it enough out there in the right place, it's not just random. Like, I'm not just going to take my CDs and throw them in the street and hope that somebody picks them up. But to get them to the right people. And I think, I probably submitted 30 songs and got each one returned with different feedback. And then now to get stuff forwarded on and sent on to companies is a big step in itself.
What kind of feedback are they giving you? I mean, you say the songs come back are they giving you guidance, or are they just saying, this one, it sucks, and that's all you're going to get?
It's specific guidance. It'll be, I remember when I was first submitting songs, I would get things like, oh yeah, stay away from those cliches. And, because, we all do that. It's a phase that we have to go through. And now I sit down, if I write a song, and if I write something, I was like, oh, I love you, baby, you're next to me, I would just be like, oh, it'd be horrible. But I had to, now, after you get more of your own self-critiquing because you've read it enough times, you know what just doesn't quite fly. So I'd get a lot of really genuine feedback, and even when I sit down and write a song now, I know a lot more what what really a hit song is.
Well, you the new CD, new EP, Stranded, it's already been released, but you're having your big show, a big CD release concert, coming up February 5th at the historic Grand Lodge.
Grand Theater.
Right.
Grand Lodge. That's
Grand Lodge is McMiniman's
yeah.
hotel. Grand Theater.
Good place too.
But you can go to the hotel actually too if you wanted to. They're nice people, but you won't,
but
you won't hear very much music. But the historic Grand Theater. What goes into your mind when you're preparing for a big show like this? One where you're putting together a show that you're headlining, and trying to bring your audience and have them bring their friends, and what goes into your mind when you're putting together a show that so much is sort of riding on it?
Yeah, it's I think first thought is, wow, it's a little overwhelming for sure. And for me, going from being exclusively a solo artist for the most part to now having a group of guys, a band playing for this show. And, from organizing that and that whole side of it and practicing and then thinking, okay, so now we've got a big theater and it's an amazing place. And, we've got some good music to share with people, and it's just a matter of getting them there. And so it really has been kind of a business push lately as far as, getting things in newspapers and all of that, and really just friends and fans that have kind of taken initiative to say, that we're going to invite these people, and it's kind of nice. I'm kind of getting people come up to me all the time and say, hey, we're coming to your show, want to buy tickets, and it's kind of nice to watch it start to build. You can only push the thing so hard, and then it's kind of nice to watch it start to roll a little bit.
Right, a little life of its own.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we do one more song?
Yeah, let's do it. So when we talked about my music career aspirations, stuff like that, this would be the song that might kind of summarize it. So this is One Hit Wonder. I don't cruise in a stretch limo, I drive a blue 85 Volvo. It's got a few paint chips on the hood, a tear in the seat, but the engine runs good. And I tell you, it gets me from here to there, but most of the time it needs repair. And though I'd rather be playing guitar, I'm laying on my back under the car. And not everyone can be a superstar, no, no. So you've got to dream big, but keep living where you are. For everyone who makes it, there's 1,000 others who don't get their break. And soon even the household names all will fade away. And I just want a chance to shine before I go under. Tell me, what would it take to be a one-hit wonder? Well, I can't just go give up my day job. Music don't put much on my pay stub. Living the dream, man, it's sweet, but the dream don't give me that much to eat. And this girl came up to take my picture, thought I was someone else. I'm pretty sure the only ones that want my autograph are these bill collectors on my back. Not everyone can be a superstar, no, no. So you've got to dream big, but keep living where you are. For everyone who makes it, there's 1,000 others who don't get their break. And soon even the household names all will fade away. And I just want a chance to shine before I go under. Tell me, what would it take to be a one-hit wonder? on. So you've got to dream big, but keep living where you are. For everyone who makes it, there's 1,000 others who don't get their break. And soon even the household names all will fade away. And I just want a chance to shine before I go under. Tell me, what would it take to be your one-hit wonder? Just give me the chance to shine before I go under. Tell me, what would it take to be your one-hit wonder?
Dare to dream, man. Dare to dream.
It's kind of like a prayer. It's a funny prayer.
It's a fairly spiritual song. One of my deeper.
I told you I've been listening to the EP all day, and I think one of the things that really stands out for me in terms of hearing you here in our more intimate living room setting versus hearing the CD is that while the sound of hearing these songs with a band is different, it's notably different. Mm-hmm. I don't find. I usually prefer the intimate kind of one-on-one solo guitar sound of these songs. I usually find them overproduced. The CD is really, really tastefully arranged. The arrangements on there they're just smartly arranged. There's not too much that goes into them. There's not. It doesn't. The band doesn't overpower the song, and I usually find that to be the case. I'm wondering what the experience was like, kind of arranging all these songs for the band and getting them to follow along and do so in such a wonderfully tasteful way.
Well, I worked with Rob Stroop in 8 Ball Studio, and I mean, first of all, after meeting him, I kind of knew we were on the same page. When I talked about what I could see with this album, really, acoustic instruments and with stories and there I go again, huh? But with the lyrics and what I want to say, I didn't want it to get lost. So I wanted it to be up front, and then everything else to come in and tastefully support it. And I really feel like Rob and I kind of shared the vision of that. And then we really had some great musicians to come in. We had Arthur Parker. He did upright bass on all of it. So I just love the way that the acoustic bass sounded, and it wasn't overpowering, but it was just such a rich sound. And then Tony Furtado was in on a few songs, and from banjo to slide guitar, and it was really a pleasure to work with all of those guys. Skip Von Kuske on cello, and my uncle Bill Price came in, did some guitar tracks, and Jean-Pierre Garau did all sorts of organ, and of course Rob Stroop was an amazing producer and participated. And then Drew Scholes on the drums. The guy's amazing. He's it was kind of a winning team, and my feeling in the end was like, see you guys next time, huh? Yeah. Stay posted. So.
Well, that's terrific. Really, it's a great effort, and that sounded terrible. It's a great EP.
Nice try.
You got an A for effort, Bryce. No, it is. It's a great EP. It's one that's definitely it's stuck on repeat on my iPod. It's a great addition. So strongly recommend it. And thank you for sitting down with us tonight and playing these great tunes. We truly appreciate it.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and I appreciate the invite. And it's great to hang out with you guys.
Kurt, what do we have to say? We always have something to say, and you usually get it right first.
Hi, everybody. I have something to say. We have supporters that are signed up for various What's Hits online.
No, you derailed.
And
I thought I set you up for success.
There's an opportunity, if you are not already signed up, to sign up as well. I'm just really doing horribly on this.
Yeah, you are.
And then those things are called like Twitter and Facebook and mailing lists. And Pete here will fill in the details.
We haven't been doing too well on Twitter. We said we would, and we haven't really, I don't think. But
AC Convo, man.
It's
I think I signed up to follow you today.
That's it. You know, I'm really glad to see that. I think you're the first new follower in a long time because we haven't really done anything with it. But we will. I'll tell you what our big effort has been of late. It's been Facebook. And I'm really happy with the Facebook fan page, and I'm glad we finally committed. We put a line in the sand, and we said we're going to do it. We're going to move to the fan page, and to everybody who has signed up already, thank you so much for doing so. If you like the show, if you appreciate these fantastic artists like Matt, please share the show with your friends. Let them know what is going on, and invite them to join the show page, and there they can find out how to subscribe via iTunes and visit the website and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's been working great. It's almost been, dare I say, viral, because I've noticed that we have invited friends, and some of the prior artists have actually invited some of their fans to become fans of the show as well. So
you better pray you didn't just jinx it.
So join in. I say
it's out of control now.
It is. Yeah, that's right. Well, anyhow, that is the story. AC Convo on Twitter, Facebook. Just search for Acoustic Conversations, or visit acousticconversations.com
and sign up for our mailing list.
And I think that's all we have to say. Anything else, Kurt?
No.
Thank you so much, everybody who's downloaded the show and is listening. And we have a great lineup of artists coming up over the next couple of months, so stay tuned. And we will catch up with you on the next Acoustic Conversations.